Hello, dear listeners. Welcome back to Timeless Romance Tales. Before we begin, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more dark aristocratic romance, dangerous protection, and the kind of desire that grows in silence. Now let's begin. The first thing Evelyn Ashcraft understood was that she was not supposed to exist anymore. That was the only explanation for the way the palace guards avoided her gaze as they ushered her through a servant's passage long after midnight. The only explanation for the heavy cloak pulled tight around her shoulders, the hood low over her face, the way no one spoke her name, or for the man walking ahead of her, tall, controlled, moving through the corridors as though they bent to his will. The Duke of Blackmere did not look back even once. "Keep your head down," he said quietly. "If anyone stops us, you are deaf. You do not speak. You do not recognize me." Evelyn swallowed. "Your Grace. Where are you taking me?" His stride never faltered. "Somewhere no one will think to look." They turned sharply, ascending a narrow staircase rarely used. Evelyn's heart pounded with each step, every instinct screaming that she should run. Yet she followed, because less than an hour ago, she had been dragged from her bed by guards who were not wearing the Duke's crest, because someone had tried to kill her, and because the Duke of Blackmere had walked into the chaos, taken one look at her bloodied sleeve, and said a single lethal sentence: "Bring her to me." Quietly, the door at the top of the stairs opened into darkness. The Duke stepped aside, ushering her in. "This is my private wing," he said, closing the door behind them with finality. "No servants. No guards. No guests." Evelyn turned slowly. The chamber was vast and austere dark wood. High windows shuttered against the night, a fire burning low. This was not a guest suite. This was his. "You will stay here," he continued. "You will not leave. You will not be seen." She stared at him. "For how long?" His jaw tightened. "Until the threat is gone. And if it never is?" A pause. "Then you will remain hidden," he said. "Alive." She laughed once, sharp and disbelieving. "You're erasing me." "I'm saving you." Evelyn shook her head. "By locking me in your bedchamber?" The corner of his mouth twitched. "There are worse places to disappear." The Duke of Blackmere was known for many things: ruthlessness in politics, precision in war councils, a temper so controlled it terrified men twice his size. What he was not known for was mercy, which made Evelyn's presence in his private wing inexplicable to everyone but him. By morning the palace buzzed with rumors. An assassin had been intercepted. A witness had vanished. A scandal narrowly avoided. No one spoke Evelyn's name. No one asked where she had gone. Inside the Duke's chambers, Evelyn sat by the fire, hands wrapped around a porcelain cup she had not touched. "You could send me away," she said quietly. The Duke, Rowan Blackmere, stood at his desk, reviewing documents as though she were not there. "And where would you go?" "Anywhere but here." "That would be foolish." She lifted her chin. "Because you decide what's foolish now?" His gaze lifted, sharp. "Because you are alive, because I decided to act." The truth of it struck her harder than anger. She had been a clerk's daughter. Educated, observant, useful. She had overheard something she should not have: names, plans, a timetable. Someone had realized. Someone had sent a blade for her throat. And the Duke had intervened. "You don't even know me," she said. "I know enough," Rowan replied. "You didn't scream. You didn't lie. And when you realized you were in danger, you ran toward the guards instead of away from them. That was instinct. Instinct reveals character." Silence stretched between them. Then he added more quietly, "You are safer here than anywhere else in this city." Evelyn believed him. That frightened her more than the walls. Days passed. Then weeks. Evelyn learned the rhythms of the private wing. When Rowan rose. When he trained. When he disappeared into council chambers and returned long after midnight, tension clinging to him like smoke. He never locked her in. He never touched her without invitation. And yet she had never felt more watched. Not possessively. Attentively. "You pace when you're thinking," he said one evening without looking up. She stopped short. "How would you know? You've done it every night since you arrived." She folded her arms. "You observe too much. I survive by it." Their conversations grew longer. She challenged his decisions. He asked her questions no one else dared to ask him. She listened when he spoke of strategy, of betrayal, of the cost of ruling men who smiled while sharpening knives. "You don't trust anyone," she said once. "I trust outcomes. And people." A pause. "I trust behavior over words." She met his gaze. "What does my behavior tell you?" That time he did not answer immediately. "That you are dangerous," he said finally. Her breath caught. "Because I know too much? Because you see too clearly." The first touch was accidental. Or at least that was how it began. Late one night, Evelyn woke from a nightmare, breath ragged, heart racing. She hadn't realized she'd cried out until Rowan was there, standing beside the bed, his expression tight with concern. "Evelyn," he said softly, "you're safe." She sat up, shaking. "They found me." "No," he said firmly. "No one knows you're here." She reached for him without thinking. Her fingers closed around his sleeve. The contact sent something electric through the room. Rowan stilled. "Let go," he said quietly, not unkindly. She froze. "I'm sorry." He didn't move away. "Do you want me to leave?" he asked. Her hand loosened, but she didn't withdraw it. "No." Silence pulsed between them. Then Rowan reached up, slowly, deliberately, and covered her hand with his. "Then we must be careful," he said. Her voice trembled. "Of what?" "Of forgetting why you're here." The danger returned with a whisper. A coded note intersected. A servant dismissed without explanation. A meeting postponed, then canceled. Rowan grew sharper, quieter, deadlier. "They're searching," he told Evelyn one night. "They know the witness didn't die." Her stomach dropped. "They'll come here." "They won't," he said. "This wing is unaccounted for." "And if they discover it?" His gaze held hers. "Then I will move you again." She shook her head. "You can't keep hiding me forever." "I can," he said flatly. "And I will." The realization struck her then. Not as fear, but as something far more dangerous. "You don't just want to protect me," she said softly. Rowan went still. "You want to keep me." His jaw tightened. "I want you alive." "That's not what I said." Silence thickened. Finally he spoke. "You have become inconvenient." Her heart pounded. "Because I matter." "Yes," he admitted. The word changed everything. The night the palace was breached, Evelyn heard the steel before the shouts. Rowan was on her in an instant, blade in hand, eyes blazing. "Stay behind me," he ordered. Footsteps thundered. Voices shouted. Rowan moved like a force of nature. When it was over, blood stained his sleeve, not his. Evelyn stood frozen, breath locked in her chest. He turned to her, searching her face with frantic intensity. "Are you hurt?" She shook her head. "You could have died." "So could you." "You chose me," she whispered. "Yes," he said fiercely. "I did." He reached for her then, not restrained, not careful, but still controlled, his hand framing her face as though grounding himself. "You are no longer hidden," he said. "They know you exist." Fear flared. "Then I have to leave." "No," he said. "Now you stay because I want you to." Her voice shook. "As what?" His forehead rested against hers. "As mine," he said. "If you'll have me." She searched his face. "And if I refuse?" "Then I will still protect you," he replied. "But I will no longer pretend this hasn't changed me." Evelyn closed her eyes. She had been smuggled into his private wing to disappear. Instead, she had become his most dangerous truth. "I won't be hidden anymore," she said. Rowan nodded. "Good. Neither will I." He kissed her then, slow, deliberate, devastating. Not claiming. Choosing. When Evelyn finally walked beside the Duke of Blackmere in public, the court trembled. Not because she was his weakness, but because she was his equal. And everyone could see it. The days after Evelyn's public appearance beside the Duke were nothing like she expected. No chains. No confinement. Instead, doors opened. Eyes followed her through the palace. Not with dismissal but calculation. Nobles who once brushed past her now paused, uncertain how deeply the Duke of Blackmere's protection extended. Courtiers whispered her name cautiously, as though it might bite. She felt it most acutely when Rowan was not beside her. The first time she walked the Eastern Gallery alone, a lady of high rank stopped her abruptly. "You were dead," the woman said bluntly. Evelyn met her gaze. "So I was told. And now?" "And now," Evelyn replied calmly, "I stand." The woman studied her, then inclined her head just barely. Word traveled fast. Too fast. Rowan knew it. "You should not wander unescorted," he said that evening, tension coiled beneath his control. "I won't live hidden again," Evelyn replied. "Not even for you." His eyes searched hers. "They will test you." "I know," she said. "They already are." He stepped closer. "And if they come for you again?" She did not hesitate. "Then they will have to come through you." A dangerous smile touched his mouth. "They already fear that." The threat revealed itself a week later. A sealed summons. Royal crest. Immediate attendance requested. Rowan read it once, then twice. "They're calling for you," he said. "Alone." Evelyn's stomach tightened. "For what purpose?" "To confirm," he replied quietly, "whether you are a liability." She met his gaze. "And am I?" Rowan's voice dropped. "You are my vulnerability." The word was not spoken lightly. "Then let me face it," she said. He stepped into her space, hands braced on either side of her as though restraining himself. "If they decide you are too dangerous, then hiding me again won't save us," she finished. Silence stretched between them. Finally, Rowan nodded once. "Very well. But understand this." His hand lifted, thumb brushing her jaw with deliberate tenderness. "If they move against you, I will burn the court to the ground." Evelyn's breath caught, not from fear, but from the certainty in his voice. The chamber was colder than expected. 3 counselors, 1 royal observer. No pleasantries. "You were smuggled into the Duke's private wing," one said flatly. "Yes," Evelyn replied. "You heard treason." "I heard truth," she corrected. "And yet you did not report it." "No." "Why?" She held their gazes steadily. "Because it was not mine to weaponize." A murmur rippled. "You chose loyalty," another said slowly. "I chose conscience." The observer leaned forward. "And if the Duke had fallen?" Evelyn did not look away. "Then I would have stood beside him anyway." Silence fell, heavy, assessing. Finally, the observer spoke. "You are not what we expected." Evelyn inclined her head. Neither was he. Rowan was waiting when she returned. He did not speak until the door shut behind her. "Well?" he asked. She crossed the room without hesitation and placed her hands against his chest, grounding herself in the steady beat beneath. "They won't move against us," she said. "Not yet." His hands closed over hers. "And later?" She looked up. "Later, we'll face it together." Something shifted in him then. Something long held, long denied. "You were meant to disappear," he said quietly. "I know. And instead," he continued, "you became the one thing I cannot replace." Evelyn smiled faintly. "Neither can you." He pulled her into him. Not rushed, not desperate, but certain. The kiss that followed was different from the first. Deeper. Unhidden. This was not secrecy. This was claiming without possession. That night, as the palace settled into uneasy quiet, Evelyn lay beside Rowan. His arm curved around her as though it had always belonged there. "You changed the balance," he murmured into her hair. "So did you," she replied. "I broke every rule to protect you. And I broke every rule by staying." He kissed her temple. "I would do it again." "So would I." Outside, the palace whispered. Inside, a duke and the woman who was never meant to be known lay awake, fully seen, fully chosen, and utterly unafraid of what came next. Because she had not been smuggled into his private wing to be erased. She had been brought there because destiny, like power, recognizes its equal when it finally arrives.